Hello and welcome back to episode 11 of Working with Spirit. My name is Sarah, founder of Crystal Nutrition. I am a holistic nutritionist, spiritual intuitive, and energy healer. And this is a weekly segment where we spend about 20 minutes together or so taking a look ahead at the upcoming energies for the week. And I give you at least one tangible thing that you can do to help you to navigate and anchor in to those upcoming energies. We're going to get into this episode is looking at the energies for the week of Sunday, August 16th, all the way until Saturday, August 22nd. So just a short housekeeping note, and we're going to drop right into it right after that. I am away next week. So next Sunday, there will not be an episode of Working with Spirit. And the week after that, I will be back. So the next episode, which is going to be episode 12, is going to be on Sunday, August 30th. So a bit of a break next week. I'm really looking forward to it, spending some time away. I'm going to be in the woods. I'm going to be meditating. I'm going to be with the trees and tree medicine. So I'm very much looking forward to that time off and then coming back nice and refreshed. You can watch some previous episodes as well if you've missed any over the last few weeks. I very biasedly think that they're all really good and wonderful topics to explore in the realm under the umbrella of spirituality. All right, let's drop into it. Today we are talking about a theme that affects all of us and has affected all of us at one point or another and might currently be affecting you. We're talking about stress. Who has not been stressed? Name one person. So our theme today is stress. We are going to be exploring what stress does energetically to the body. So yes, it does things physically and can affect your health, but what does it do as an energy in the energy field, in the aura? And how can that affect the body and also your energetic state? So we're going to take a look at that. Our tangible thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be going over mantras that you can use to help to rewire and reset your field during periods or times of stress or extreme stress. A few other techniques, one of them being an anchor technique. So I'm going to show you how you can, or tell you how you can anchor into your body to be present in what is true, to release what you cannot control. And that's our topic. I think it's a great one. So let's get into it. We're going to take a few deep breaths like we always do at the beginning of these episodes. So I invite you to gently close your eyes or have them open to a soft gaze, and we will go ahead and get started. So take a nice deep breath in through your nose on your next inhale. Hold at the top, and then exhale through your mouth. Release. And again, moving up nice and slow, breathing in through the nose, holding at the top, and exhale, release. And once more, nice, gentle breath in, find your center, find your neutrality, and exhale, release. Allow yourself to be anchored into your field, into your body. Allow your ear chakras and upper chakras to open up to receive these messages, this guidance and wisdom coming through for you today. And may you take what resonates for you at this time in your own personal journey for you and your highest good, and leave the rest. One more big breath in, nice and slow together. Holding at the top, and exhale, release. All right. So you're welcome to gently open your eyes if you'd like, or you can keep them closed while you hear me talk. And we will get through all of our channeled material. So I channel by writing. So if at any point, if this is your first time watching, you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes that I have written about this topic. So there's long-term stress and then there's short-term stress. And obviously long-term stress can take longer. if we're talking about this as an energy, it can take longer to clear or balance in the field because obviously it's been there longer, it's accumulated longer, so it might be bigger or denser as an energy. But short-term stress can leave energy residue in the body as well. So that's one of the first things that came through, of not to diminish the energy of stress in your field if it's just short-term temporary stress, or if you've had short-term stress like a few months ago, it could still be in your field. It might not be, but it could be. We're exploring the energy behind this or around this. So stress as an energy is actually quite dense. It's quite heavy, and it can manifest in different ways for different people. So in some people, stress can make them more flighty and high strung and kind of like nervous energy, but still underlying energetically, the way that stress sits in the field, in the aura, is heavy. It's heavy, it's a very dense vibration. It just sits in the body like a lump of coal, and continued stress or new stresses can increase the weight or the density of this energy. And that can also look like, get into this a little bit right now, it can look like heaviness, density in the body can also, I believe, anything physical in the body can start on an energetic level. So sometimes we just have physical things that happen that don't necessarily have an energetic component, but because everything is connected, it's worth looking at the whole picture of somebody or the whole picture of yourself. So somebody with a lot of stress, a lot of dense energy, that can put a lot of pressure on the energetic field, and in some cases that can metastasize or manifest in the physical body as heavy denseness in the joints or the bones or the aches and the pain. So sometimes that can be stress related. Sure, the person could have arthritis or could have some other things going on, but if there's also an energetic component of stress in their life, that is also going to add weight not only to the field, but if there's enough of it for a long enough period of time, it can actually start to weigh on the body physically. Okay. So another analogy from spirit to really visualize and bring this into our understanding and awareness in what stress energy does to the body. It's seeing stress like dryer lint. So on its own, like if you have a load of clothes in the laundry and you have like, that little basket or that little thing you pull up and it's got lint on it. On its own, it's not too heavy if you were to just take it out in between the cycles. But the longer it sits there and accumulates without any clearing, the more of a nuisance it becomes to the overall dryer machine. And the metaphor of that would be for your body. And it can be like, if you don't clean the lint out of your dryer over time, it can be a fire hazard. So if you think of that analogy from spirit in your body, that could also translate to inflammation of the body, which is what we just talked about. So at the same time, while it is a very dense, or to me, it presents as a very dense energy in the field, it's also incredibly sticky and sludgy. So it's heavy, it's dense, but it's sticky and sludgy. Meaning, again, the longer that it sits there, the harder it can be to remove, especially if the source of the stress is not going away or is not able to go away for this period of time that you are navigating. If it grows too big for its area, meaning wherever it is in your field or floating around in your field, but it's kind of like just dense energy, just kind of moving in your field, but then it sort of will find a spot or a pocket to settle. That's the way it's being shown to me as I'm talking to you. If it grows too big for its area, it begins to spread to different areas of the body and set up camp there, going into nooks and crannies. So this is why if there is a physical imbalance that has metastasized in the physical body from a continued energy of stress, it can ping pong around the body. It can present in one area of the body and then move to another. So it is the stress network. This is what was channeled. It is the stress network that has been set up, and the stress signals are moving around the field like a ping pong. And it can be hard to locate the exact source of the energy, like the pain or imbalance, because it appears sporadic and happening in different areas at different times. So that's something else to keep in mind. If you're very stressed out and there's like this ping pong energy of maybe physical things are happening, and yeah, just keeping in mind that there usually is an energetic component to physical stuff, but not always. Like an example I want to give is an athlete. An athlete can have something physical going on, and it doesn't necessarily have to have an emotional root or an energetic component. It can, but sometimes it's just the mechanism of the body. It's the physicality of the body, and because their job is very physical, they work out a lot, they use their shoulders or their legs a lot, they might be more prone to like a physical injury. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes you could say they might get the injury because they need to learn patience or learn how to slow down or learn how to whatever, but sometimes really it's just a physical thing. Just like, if you were to trip on the sidewalk, it doesn't necessarily mean anything or is a sign. It could be, again, a sign from spirit that you need to slow down. But there's also a physicality to taking and incarnating in a human body that, sometimes you just tripped, or your shoe just caught on your pants and you just tripped. And it's like, it's not a bad omen. It's not a message. It's not it's just you simply lost your balance and fell. So always keeping a level head with this stuff too, and practicing your discernment and your own intuition, and being connected with yourself in that way will really help. Okay, will help you to navigate that, I want to say. Okay, so energetically, stress, it's a defense mechanism of the body to keep you safe. So your body is wired to store the stress or stressful events as a reminder for the future of what can happen so that you can stay alert and can be of service or survive. So there's a primal wiring happening here, and I'm sure, there's a whole physical or physiological thing of information about stress and stress response in the body. But again, we're talking about the energy of stress in the field from an energetic, spiritual point of view. So in the energy field, sometimes it can get messed up with your core wiring, meaning your core energetic vibration, soul, essence, like who you are. So if this gets entangled or intertwined with the field, if the stress energy mixes in a little bit too much with your sense of self, it can be very tricky to separate your sense of self from the stress or stressful situation. And you can lose your identity in the stress and forget what it's like to be more calm, more relaxed, or happier, or a lighter version of yourself. And then I wrote, don't forget who you are. And it's also just remembering too, like sometimes it's just, it's a stressful period, but you also have to remember that it does not define you. It does not define you, this stress or this stressful period or this shitty period of time or challenging part of time that you've had, or if the last few years have been really shitty, like it doesn't define you as a person. And if you can dig deep, but also go high and observe from a bird's eye point of view any lessons, wisdoms, or teachings that you could get from this, potentially, that can help you to shift that as well, to have a little bit more awareness as to why some of these things might be happening, or to find the silver lining, to find the positivity in that, and to learn the lesson, and then to note that also that it is temporary. So your life, whatever it may look like now, whatever you are currently navigating, is not going to look like this forever. Just think about other times in your life where you have struggled or have challenges and you weren't sure how you were going to make it through, but somehow you did, and you're where you are today. So if you've had that happen before, maybe not the same situation, but that level of uncertainty and stress and anxiety and tension, just know that will come, like everything that goes up must come down kind of thing. Like there is always a cyclical balancing act that happens in life with the balancing of energies and cycles and lessons and periods of time. Okay, I am looking at the time on this video, and I'm looking at how many more things I have to talk about. This video is definitely not going to be 20 minutes. So if you're watching this on Instagram only allows 20 minutes for videos for some reason. So please, at the 20-minute mark, when it cuts off, just go to my YouTube on my link in bio, and you can watch the full video. I really thought I was gonna make it this week. Last week was longer as well, but you know what? This information is important, so there's a little bit of flexibility there with my goal is 20 minutes, but if I go over because the topic needs it, then I go over. All right. So how do we cut through this energetically with this really dense, sticky energy, and especially if we're still navigating the stress or the source of the stress has not gone away? Well, we can't completely eliminate stress from our lives. We can lean on our spiritual tools and breath work to help us navigate, alleviate, and manage stress. It's all about using those tools to help you in the moment be able to break that energy up into smaller pieces, into more digestible chunks. And that might not always happen. You might have a bunch of things happening at once and experience overwhelm, but it's the repair afterwards or the decompressing afterwards, and that nurturing of your body, mind, and soul after an extremely stressful period or a period where it was high, I want to say, what's the word? Adrenaline. If it was like an emergency or something at the hospital and you had to make quick thinking decisions, like if it was like this period of time where it was just like so stressful, remember that we have to repair that after, when you have the capacity to. You got to give yourself time to kind of come down from that and sort of reintegrate, and then you have to kind of flesh that out, if that makes sense, energetically. And that's something that gets balanced with time, professional help if you need it, energy healing if you need it, like whatever you feel that you need, time in nature, meditating, but you got to be able to come down, because otherwise you might stay in that, and then your body will stay in that, and then that's where that stress energy just will continue to fester in the body. So just being mindful of, if it was technically a short-term stress, but it was really high period of stress, but now that period is over, that energy imprint can still be in your field, because it was such high stress. So it still would have left a very lasting imprint, and just needs to just get massaged a little bit, so we can loosen that up from your field and get that to move through the body to give it somewhere to go. Okay. So here are some helpful mantras. So we're gonna get into a bit more of the tangible things we can do energetically and spiritually to help us manage stress and navigate stress. So here are some helpful mantras for stress that I wrote down. So the first one is, I acknowledge that although I am stressed right now, everything is temporary. I accept that I am stressed out about blank. And I accept that this stress is temporary, no matter how permanent it may seem. There is a piece to acknowledging the stress and accepting the stress, acknowledging the situation that you're stressed about. That can be just that in and of itself, giving acknowledgement can start to loosen the body up a little bit, because you're acknowledging it's there. You're not trying to suppress it. You're not trying to ignore it. You're not trying to make it go away. You're just sitting with it. I acknowledge this, I accept this, this really sucks, but hey, okay, I'm stressed out about XYZ. That will help it not be such a weight on you, because by accepting it, you shift the energy around it, you soften the energy around it, and then it's not sitting so densely in your field, in your body. Okay, next mantra. I ask my angels, guides, creator, God, universe, whatever terms you're comfortable with your own personal beliefs, to help me to manage my stress, and to please help me to remove anything from my plate that is not serving my highest good. Ask your team, ask your homies. I believe we all have angels and guides, and of course our higher selves. And there's the universal law of free will, right? So they're not going to interfere with something if it's part of your soul blueprint or soul plan of something that you have chosen, that you want to experience, to learn, to expand your consciousness. So they can't interfere with that if that's something that has been charted or is actually for your highest good. but they can assist and they can help. Or if you need a little bit of clarity, or if you need a little bit of assistance, or you need just some support, you can ask them. So they're not going to also just swoop in and get involved. There is a piece here of permission, of asking them to, like, can you just help this to be less stressful for me? And then, so this is the next mantra that kind of flows after this one. If there is a lesson, teaching, or wisdom that I am meant to learn during this period of stress, I ask for clarity, that the lesson and teaching gets revealed to me with ease and grace, so I am able to master the lesson and move forward in my journey. So if you'd like to have some clarity around why you might be experiencing something or what the lesson teaching is, you can ask for that as well. Next mantra, although it may not always feel safe for me to relax, it is safe for me to relax right now. And I want to change that, because I channel that, and I don't even want that first part, cancel, cut, clear, delete. I'm actually going to just edit this in real time. I don't actually really like that, because I don't even think that's great to say vibrationally, because you're sort of might be calling that in a little bit more, or kind of amplifying that it's not always safe to relax. Because we want to sort of start to shift away from that energy. So cancel, cut, clear, delete. The mantra simply is just, it is safe for me to relax right now. It is safe for me to relax right now. And then allow yourself, or try to be still and relax for at least 5 minutes. Maybe you have a lot of things to do, or a lot of responsibilities, or a lot of boxes to tick, or whatever what's in front of you for the day. But if you can carve out at least 5 minutes, that will be really, really huge for your energetic state and for your balancing of your energy. It is safe for me to relax right now. Fine, it's not even that it's not safe, it's just you literally might not be able to relax in a few hours, because you have to go take your parent in for an appointment or a surgery, or something's going on with you or whatever, right? You might not, it might not even be a safety thing. You just might not be capable of that if it's something very stressful. But you know what? For these next 5 minutes, it is safe for me to relax, and I'm going to allow myself to do so. Okay, next mantra. It is safe for me to stay present and release what I cannot control. Anything outside of my control, I graciously give to spirit and surrender to a higher power. And the last mantra is one of very much an underlying frequency of self-empowerment. So I can do this. I connect with frequencies of inner strength, resilience, rest, and relaxation. Please create more opportunities for me to relax and come back to myself. And that would be talking to your angels, your guides, God, whoever you're comfortable asking, communicating that to in terms of your spiritual beliefs. Please create more opportunities for me to relax and come back to myself, and then see what happens. And again, even if it's 5 minutes that open up, it's better than nothing, that's for sure. Better than nothing, especially if you're in the thick of it. All right. So those are our mantras. So something else that I want to talk about before we get into more techniques is the energy of fear with stress. So stress and fear can often be happening at the same time. Not always. You might be just really stressed out because you have a lot going on, but there's not actually any fear involved. It's just stress. So, again, that personal discernment. But sometimes with stress and fear can go hand in hand energetically. So usually it's pretty easy to identify the source of the stress, right? Like a big change, like moving or losing someone close, becoming a caregiver, being overworked or losing your job, or too many assignments or homework, becoming ill yourself, etc. So many examples of stress. If there is also a fear energy that's accompanying the stress, so for example, you start not to feel well, you have to get a bunch of tests done to see what's going on, and you're fearful of a serious diagnosis. If that's one example, there's many others, but we're just gonna use that for this video. That's one example. If you can identify the source of the fear and meet it with compassion, patience, acknowledgement, and love, it can help you to move through it or navigate it a little bit better, maybe a lot better, but at least a little bit better. You might not totally eliminate it, like the stress and the fear together, but again, there's such a key to acknowledging stuff with this kind of work and with this level of awareness. Acknowledging it allows it to break down energetically to a size that is more manageable or palatable to deal with than this huge mountain of stress and fear that's just like sitting in the body and festering and not getting acknowledged. There's something about acknowledging this stuff and accepting that it's happening and that you're like this is coming up for you, that allows it to get even like anxious. If you're randomly anxious or maybe not randomly, maybe there's a reason you're anxious and you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling something coming up for you, acknowledging like, okay, I accept that I am anxious about blank blank blank, or I accept that I am feeling a little bit anxiety about having to do this thing tomorrow and blah, 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 blah. Like in my experience, when I acknowledge it, when I accept it, when I vocalize it, I shift it. I shift it from sitting and fighting with it and trying to make it go away to like, okay, all right, it's here. I acknowledge it. I let it move through my body. And then eventually, like, you give it somewhere to go. You give it somewhere to go when you acknowledge it. And so it doesn't just sit there. That's my experience of working with those types of energies. So I felt called to share that. Okay, so be mindful. This is the last thing we're going to talk about before we get into our techniques for this week. Be mindful of your feedback loop and taking accountability for your role. So what ideas, thoughts, perspectives are you thinking or saying about the situation? So perhaps the situation itself is outside of your control. But again, zoom out, higher perspective, bird's eye view, and see if in any way you are participating in feeding the fear, stress, or choosing to be negative every day, or if you're making a conscious effort to try to make the best of it or be positive when you can. So just take a little look at yourself and just take an honest look in the mirror and just see if there's any way you might be contributing to this stress, or is it choices that you're making because you're scared of disappointing someone, or you're scared of enforcing a boundary, so therefore this stress just keeps happening and you don't really want to address it. Like, just, is there anything that you are doing actively in your role in this conscious experience that is feeding this loop of stress or fear? And if there is, own it and shift it. And you shift it by acknowledging, like, owning it, taking accountability, acknowledging it, and then shifting, making conscious efforts to shifting your wiring with the mantras, right? Or shifting your perspective, shifting your behavior, making more aligned choices, even if they're difficult. And if you don't even know what the aligned choice would be, then it's a matter of getting reacquainted with yourself and sitting, like, relearning about yourself and knowing who you are. It's a lot of people, I feel, vibrationally as a species for humans, I feel there's just a lot of people that don't know who they are, and that's why there's other organizations like media and other things that just, like, they'll tell you who you are. If, or anything, you could get into a relationship with somebody, right? Like, if you don't know who you are, somebody else is going to tell you who you are. And then you're going to live that out. So it's becoming, when you become awake, when you become aware, if you want to use the word awake, sure, aware as well of this and of who you are, and learning that about yourself. And life's a constant journey of coming back to yourself, different versions of yourself. And yeah, anyways, that was a little bit of a side tangent. But yeah, so that's the last thing I wanted to say about that. Just being really aware of your own internal feedback loop and what you're feeding this, how you're feeding this stress, how you're feeding this situation. And honestly, you might not be at all, because sometimes you're You could be in such a stressful or busy situation that you don't even have a feedback loop because you're just so burnt out and fried from whatever it is you're doing, and you go to sleep and then you start the day again. So sometimes that's not a thing, but again, it could be. Everybody's different, everybody's conscious experience is different, so that's why I'm just giving you different perspectives or viewpoints about stress and things that can happen with the energy of stress. And then you can see how it fits, but just so you're aware of it too. And some of the stuff I might be talking about today might not be you directly. It could be somebody close to you or somebody in your life that you're seeing that has a lot of stress. And this video might help you to understand them a little bit more or a little bit better. It also might help you to have a different perspective and maybe more compassion for yourself, earlier versions of yourself that were under a lot of stress. If you've been very judgmental or like self-persecuting on choices or decisions a past version of you has made in the past before you had this level of awareness or growth or understanding, this video can help you to release from that vibrationally, I'm getting. So just allow that to unfold for you as well if you're watching this and if that resonated. Okay. So last but certainly not least, we are getting into our tangible things that we can do to help release stress energy and remove it from the body, or just break it down so it's a little bit smaller and then it can move a little. It's still moving though, we're still moving it, they're saying. So moving it from the body. Okay, so first point, chakra work, chakra clearing. So clearing the chakras, all 7 or all 12 or whatever if you're not familiar with the chakras at all and you look them up, they're energy points within the body. We actually have them all over, like we have hand chakras and feet chakras and they with the meridian lines, but the most popular is along the spine. You have 7 that are really well known. There's actually like 12 in that system, but there are 7, so I'd recommend you just start there. If you're like, this is brand new for you, just start with this basic 7 chakras. But clearing the chakras, 7 or 12 or your whole, whatever you want to do, it's a great way to clear and regenerate the field and to move the stress energy out of the body. Because what happens is the stress is happening around us and it gets into the field, and then the chakras are like pinwheels or circles of energy. So as they're like little vortexes, and as they're turning and moving throughout your day, they start to take in a bit of that stress energy. So the stress energy actually, I'm being told, gets stored in the chakras first. So first it starts to go into the chakras, and then as it gets more, I want to say solidified or like denser, starts to sit in the body, that's when it can start to kind of leach out or go into other areas of the body and then potentially metastasize or manifest into something. Sorry about that. Once again, I have run out of memory. I will definitely be troubleshooting that and figuring that out, but we're going to move on. We're going to get right back into it. So yes, the clearing of the chakras, because it can get stored in the chakras first, and then as it solidifies, it gets moved to other areas of the body. So how do you clear that? With the white light. I call it the white light breath. So you're going to breathe into each chakra. So as you breathe in through your nose, you're going to focus on one chakra at a time. So if you're starting at the root chakra, which is an energy center at the base of your spine, you're going to breathe in white light into that chakra through the nose. Send it there, hold, exhale through the mouth, love. The energy of love. And then you're going to move up and you're going to do sacral chakra. So womb space, breathing in through the nose. You're going to direct your breath and you're going to direct the white light to your sacral chakra. So breathing in white light to the sacral chakra. Hold and exhale through the mouth, love. And then we're just going to do one more, going up to solar plexus. So right above the belly button, breathing in white light. Hold and exhale, love, and so on and so forth. And you would go all the way up, and once you get to the top, I always visualize or send that energy kind of showering down like white sparks or white sparks of white light and creating an egg. So you're in your own egg of white light. But chakra work when you're stressed out, and consciously making an effort to clear is a fantastic idea for stress management. If you are attuned to Reiki or any other kind of energy healing modality that you can work with on your chakras to clear the energy, that would work as well. But I wanted to give you the white light breath that I use and implement and work with, not only with clients, but just on my own daily. I clean all of my chakras daily with that meditation. So it's really important to keep that maintenance up for spiritual hygiene, spiritual etiquette, but also not etiquette really. Sorry, it's more of a hygiene thing. I guess etiquette, not really, but it's like a hygiene. But yeah, sorry, an energy hygiene thing to clean those chakras. Okay. I wanted to give you something in case you're not attuned to Reiki. I wanted to give you another option. Okay, so next is breath work. So a lot of people, breath work's a thing now. There's a lot of breath work facilitators, and I honestly think that's a really good thing, because I think we as a society need to breathe more. So breath work for clearing your body and vessel. So breath is a powerful tool of alchemy that we can work with for clearing. So 3, 5, this is what I wrote down. 3, 5, or 10 deep full body breaths in a row in moments of heightened stress to clear the field. And this is even like if you're somewhere where no one can tell, if you're in a waiting room, if you're whatever, and you're breathing like that, nobody can tell. There's a way that you can do that. You could keep it to yourself. There's also, you can go to the bathroom and do that. You can do that in your car. So there's ways that you can do that if you're in the public and you don't necessarily want to and be really loud about it. You can, right? Like you're still doing that. Anyways, there's subtle ways you can do that. But yeah, going to the bathroom is always great. Just stepping outside and doing some breath like that is always great too. These are just different techniques and tools. So, use what you can, use what fits for your life, and leave the rest. So the next one, speaking of that, this is pretty funny that I said that right before this point. So the next one, and I channeled this, is orgasm. So releasing stress and tension, either by yourself or with somebody else. It energetically, this helps to release stored stress in the body, because it's a release. So it just releases stored stress energy very well, actually. And it brings you back to point zero. Now, this is something you have to, again, it's something in moderation. You could, again, everything has to be a balance, right? If there's any addiction tendencies here around this, or even, someone's like, oh, you're stressed out, have a drink. Everything in moderation. If you're depending on orgasm or drinking or anything else that helps you to relax, if you become dependent on that as that's the only way you can relax when you're stressed, not great. But once in a while, a powerful release like that can really just reset energetically the field. But make sure you're doing other things too. You're journaling, you're breathing, you're balancing your chakras, cleaning your chakras. You're doing other things as well, not becoming dependent on some sort of action or substance or something all the time. It's good to have various tools in your toolbox. Okay, moving on from that, this is our last point for the evening. We are doing the anchor technique. So I'm going to walk you through this. I invite you to close your eyes. You can replay this at any point if you need to do this, but I'd like you to close your eyes and just drop into your body. So breathing in through the nose and exhale and drop into your body. Breathing in again, nice and slow through the nose. Exhale and drop into your feet chakras. Just dropping a little deeper here. And as you breathe in and out at a regular pace of breathing, I invite you to stay rooted and allow anything that you are storing or holding on to that is not serving your highest good, especially in the realm of stress and fear. Allow it to begin to float to the top of your field. And ask your guides, angels, higher self, creator, to clear it for you while you stay anchored into your feet Allow this anchor at your feet to keep you in your body while everything else floats to the top and gets transmuted. Anything that you are ready and able to manage and handle in terms of cleansing, clearing, balancing, please do so now with love and light and ease and grace, and so it is. Continue to stay anchored and rooted while this energy moves through you. Acknowledge the energy so it has somewhere to go, and send it on its way as it floats to the top. But you remain rooted like a tree, left foot, right foot, anchored by your feet, balanced, harmonious, and whole, back into alignment, connecting with frequencies of peace, relaxation, stillness, and the wisdom to see the bigger picture of what is going on. If there's any clarity that's needed in this situation, we ask for it now. We ask for it to come to us in divine timing with ease and grace, so we may have greater wisdom and understanding and can shift and grow through this season of our life. And we thank you. So one more nice big breath in. And as you exhale, release. Thank your angels, guides, higher self, and source for helping you with this healing. And we now close off the field and the channel, and you can open your eyes. Welcome back. So we ended up actually going through and doing the technique, which I think is great. I was just, my plan was actually just to read to you what you do for that. But I felt called to actually let's walk through that together, so you have an idea of how that would work. And that's a good thing to do at the end of the day in bed as you're drifting off to sleep from the stress of the day, to allow that to move. All right, that is it for me. That is our final message on our theme of stress. Thank you so much for watching. If you have watched this far, if you find these videos helpful, useful, they resonate with you, please comment, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me on this journey while we create these episodes, while we work with spirit together. I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks. Remember, I am off next Sunday, and I will see you back here for Sunday, August 30th for episode 12 of Working with Spirit. Have a wonderful 2 weeks. Namaste. Ciao.